Okay, real talk. I'm about to mess with everything you think you know about your brain, success, and why that meditation app on your phone isn't changing your life the way you hoped it would. See, I used to think spiritual people were just, a little too zen for reality. Until I found out what was actually happening inside their brains. And now, I can't unsee it. So, get this. Harvard researchers took a bunch of stressed-out people, had them meditate for just 8 weeks, and their brains literally grew new tissue. Not metaphorically, literally. Like, you could see it on the brain scans, thicker cortical tissue, more gray matter in the hippocampus. MIT and Massachusetts General Hospital published this stuff in peer-reviewed journals. And neuroscience labs everywhere started finding similar patterns. Meditation doesn't just make you feel different, it makes your brain structurally different. But here's the thing nobody's talking about, and the reason I'm making this video: none of these studies explain how to actually use this stuff in your daily life. Until now. Look, I get it. You've tried meditation. Maybe you downloaded Headspace, sat there for 10 minutes trying not to think about your to-do list, felt nothing special, and figured it just wasn't for you. Or maybe you're one of those people who thinks spirituality is just for people who wear crystals and talk about their chakras at coffee shops. I used to be that person too. But here's what I realized. We've been thinking about this all wrong. While we're out here trying to optimize everything, our sleep, our workouts, our productivity systems, we're completely ignoring the one thing that controls everything: our consciousness. And meanwhile, the most successful people on the planet? They're not just meditating for inner peace. They're using these techniques like performance-enhancing drugs for their minds. All right, let me blow your mind for a second. When you do real spiritual practices, and I'm talking actual techniques, not just closing your eyes and hoping for the best, your brain starts producing gamma waves. These are the same brain waves that happen during moments of genius. You know those aha moments in the shower. That's gamma wave activity. When athletes are in the zone, same brain patterns. When musicians are improvising and everything just flows, same neurological signature. But it gets better. There's this part of your brain called the default mode network. Basically, your inner critic that never shuts up. And meditation literally quiets it down. It's like having a volume control for your overthinking brain. Carnegie Mellon researchers proved that just 3 days of mindfulness training significantly improved people's stress resilience and reduced inflammation markers in their blood. 3 days. Most people spend longer than that trying to figure out their Netflix password. Now, here's where this gets really personal. You know how sometimes you're motivated and crushing your goals, and other times you can barely get out of bed, even though nothing's really changed? Turns out, psychology research shows there are 2 completely different types of motivation. There's the surface-level stuff. Make more money, get more followers, buy cooler things. That's like running on sugar. Quick energy that crashes fast. Then there's what researchers call intrinsic motivation, when what you're doing connects to something bigger than yourself. That's like having a nuclear reactor powering your life. I learned this the hard way. I spent years grinding, checking all the success boxes, but feeling empty inside. Turns out, I was running on empty motivation. When I started connecting my daily work to my deeper values, not through some cheesy vision board, but through actual practices that research shows rewire your brain. Everything changed. The data backs this up. People with strong spiritual practices don't just feel better. They show measurably better stress recovery, goal persistence, and resilience to setbacks. It's like they have access to a different operating system. Here's the wild part. Ancient spiritual traditions figured this out thousands of years ago. They just didn't have brain scanners to prove it. Take letting go, something every spiritual tradition talks about. Neuroscience now shows that when you stop trying to control everything, your analytical brain networks relax and your creative networks activate. This is literally why your best ideas come when you're not trying. In the shower, on walks, right before you fall asleep, or gratitude practices. Psychology calls it positive psychology now, but it's really just what wisdom traditions have taught forever. When you train your brain to notice what's working, you literally get better at pattern recognition for opportunities and solutions. It's kind of funny. We spent centuries dismissing this stuff as unscientific, only to discover that science was just catching up to what mystics already knew. Sometimes the old ways are old because they work. All right, here's where we separate the people who watch self-improvement videos from the people who actually improve themselves. Pick one of those 3 brain hacks, just one. Use it every day for the next 7 days. I don't care if you forget sometimes, just get back to it. But here's the important part. Actually track what changes. How do you feel? How do you perform? What's different about your day? Keep a simple note in your phone, and then come back here and tell me what happened. Not some vague "I feel more positive" comment. I want specifics. What actually changed in your life? Did you sleep better? Handle stress differently? Have different kinds of thoughts? Because that's how we know this stuff actually works, not just makes us feel good temporarily. Look, I want you to understand something. The most powerful tools for human performance aren't found in some tech startup or expensive course. They've been available for thousands of years, tested across every culture and century. The difference between people who succeed long-term and people who burn out isn't talent or resources. It's the ability to stay connected to why they're doing what they're doing, to make decisions from clarity instead of chaos, and to keep going when things get tough. That's not just success. That's what ancient traditions called wisdom. And now we know it's also what neuroscience calls optimized brain function. You already have everything you need. The most sophisticated piece of technology you'll ever own is sitting right between your ears. You just need to learn how to use it properly. If you want more content that actually helps you use your brain's full potential, not just feel good about it for 5 minutes, hit subscribe. Because while everyone else is arguing about whether this stuff is real, we're going to use proven techniques to get real results. Pick your brain hack. Track your progress over the next week. And let's see what your optimized consciousness can actually accomplish. I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.